Try to see this picture. This is of an iron utensil, right? You can see it's an iron pan and it's very fresh. Okay, it's cooked every day. Something is cooked on this every single day. But now, after some time, this becomes the situation. The same iron pan becomes like this. You can see brown stains all over it. And this happens after a long period of time. It's not like it happens in a month or 2 months or a year even. It takes a lot of time from this to this. The transformation takes a lot of time. Now, what is this exact process called? This process is called rusting of iron. You have to remember this. This process is called rusting of iron. Like iron utensils, iron pans, anything. On not just the utensils we are talking about, anything. You can see grills, doors, which are made of iron. When they are kept for long, when they are exposed to the atmosphere for a very long period of time, they rust. Like these brown stains, they occur in the surface, and that is called rusting of iron. Now, a similar thing can be actually observed in other metals like copper, silver. Okay, in other metals a similar thing is observed, but in this case it's not called rusting. Okay, basically what happens is there is atmospheric oxygen and other gases, and when they react with the surface of these metals, these kind of things happen. These stains, you can see here, it's not essentially brown stains, but the main color and the main qualities fade away, okay, from the surface. For other metals like copper and silver, it is called something else. What is it called? It is called corrosion. So remember, for iron it's rusting, but for other metals like copper and silver, it's corrosion. Now, there's a question for you. Corrosion occurs to metals like copper and silver and is a process similar to rusting of iron. Okay, so option A is true, option B is false. The correct answer is definitely option A, true. It's a process like the rusting of iron, it's just named different. It's corrosion, and for iron it's rusting. Now, basically we talked so much about corrosion. You can see it's not just about utensils and the equipments from which we eat. You can see a car, okay, on the other side the grills we were talking about, then you have a ship here, then you have bridges. So many things, everything made of metals get corroded after a long period of time. You can't see, like, let's consider a bridge. It has not happened over a year or 2 years. It has taken a lot of time, decades and decades, and after that the situation is like this. So which is why, see, you can't keep a thing like this. You're going to a place, you are actually seeing a bridge, you are seeing going by a car. You don't often see this occurring because the governments and the organizations pay a lot of money for the maintenance of these. These can be maintained, of course, and the government actually incurs a lot of cost to maintain these actually sites or cars or whatever we are seeing made of metals which corrode or rust over a period of time. Now, you can see this girl, there is a plate and there is some food, okay, some kind of food in front of her, and she's actually showing that it's smelling very bad, right? You can understand, she's like pressing her nose. So, which means this food is really smelling very bad. Now, you can understand from the picture very well, it's some fatty food, it's fried, right? Any kind of fried food, when it is actually left for a long period of time, it catches some smell. Okay, there is some smell. You can see any kind of fried food when you keep it in some box or any container, you will see when you open it after a long period of time, you can actually smell something, and it's a disgusting, it's a bad smell. Okay, what is that called? When fats and oils are oxidized, they become rancid and their smell and taste changes. Like this you have seen at your house, mainly the immediately fried food, like the fast foods we actually eat, they are not kept for long, but certain things like these, then they are kept in little boxes, some fries. So when they are kept, they lose their taste and they are oxidized with the environment. Okay, fats and oils are oxidized, they become rancid. This entire process is actually called rancidity. Let me write it down. This process is called rancidity. So when rancid, they become rancid, the taste and the smell both change. It's not just that it's smelling bad, it's also tasting a lot different, maybe bad only. Now usually antioxidants are used to prevent it. Airtight containers can also slow down oxidation. So definitely when it's kept in open and when it's kept in a container like this, there will be a difference in the rancidity process. Okay, for these containers the rancidity will take a lot of time, but when it open or when it's not that much airtight a place where it is kept, it will take very little time, okay, very little time to become rancid and lose its actual quality. Now you may be surprised when you eat your favorite Lays or any other chips. Okay, you may be surprised that it's filled with a lot of air, right? You sometimes feel like there is more air than the actual chips or wafers. Why? Chips packets are filled with nitrogen to prevent rancidity. So this is basically done with a motive, because you know these have a long expiry date, 5 months, 6 months, sometimes more than that. So in that case, when you need to preserve it, if you don't put enough of air, like it has to be airtight, putting enough of nitrogen gas, it can turn rancid, and then when you buy it from the shop, your neighboring shop, you will see that it is not tasting as good as fresh. Like you see, when you are even eating these chips near to the expiry date, like let's consider after 3 months or 4 months post manufacturing, even then it will taste very good, it will taste very fresh. Why? Because of the air present in these packets. So it is actually a very necessary thing. So what did we learn in this video? First of all, we talked about the rusting of iron. Okay, we showed an iron pan which actually gets rust after a long period of time. When it is kept for a long period of time, it gets rust. Similar thing occurs to other metals like copper and silver, but that is called corrosion. So that is the difference. Rusting in case of iron, for other metals like copper and silver, it's corrosion. Then we talked about rancidity, like fatty things, anything which is fatty and fried, when it is kept for a long period of time, it loses its taste and it also smells very bad. And that can be actually reduced when kept in an airtight container, or like chips packets, they fill it with air so that the rancidity decreases. So these are the takeaways from this video.